Well, hello, my beautiful, powerful, everyday women of the world. Welcome to the Startup Stories podcast, where the ambitious everyday woman is heard, held, and served in life and in business. I'm your host, Miss Mia Frankel of Powerful Inc., the everyday woman's coach for living a peaceful and productive life. You'll hear relatable stories to keep you sane, grounded, and growing as you expand yourself. First, go within in order to serve externally and deliver your purpose to the world. I'm so excited today to welcome Juli Miezejeski, who is a life coach who converted her own life in order to become this beautiful, glorious, happy, spirit-filled woman that she is today. Uh, Much like women that we talk to on the show, Julie's story started in corporate. She did what I like to call the book of life, right? Go to school, get a job, work, 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 raise your kids, blah, 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 la, la, la. Looking good, tick all the boxes. That is wonderful, and that serves a great purpose. But what we miss in that book of life is the spirit, right? And giving room for that spirit to grow and glow. That's fun. And this is the same. Julie was feeling this. She had the things, she had the metrics, she had the MBA in marketing and management science, which is super fun. I don't hear that one very often. But there was something inside. There's two ways that our stories unfold, it seems to me, Julie, and you'll share back when you talk about your client exposure. But we either are just living a good life and still yearning for more, or something traumatic happens and it brings forth a new transformation. But Julie's case was living a good life, but she had a pivotal moment where an executive coach hit the spirit, and then it couldn't be ignored anymore. And from there, wildfire. Julie went through the Institute for Professional Excellence in Coaching. If you're in the coaching industry, you'll recognize that acronym IPEC. It's one of like the biggest life coaching institutes globally. And she left corporate. Bam! Decades, decades. Bold move. Because when you know something, you can't unknow it anymore. And then you want to see where it's going to take you, right? So I'm so excited to talk to her today because the version that we get to have is the one that lived all of that and now is applying it all in a new way, more aligned, more true to who she really is. And she had to go through that transformation herself. So she's a certified professional coach, a mental fitness trainer. And Julie, I love using fitness analogies for identity development. So I'm excited that you've used that terminology and brings us from achievement into alignment. So the last thing I'm going to say here, my love, is that there's a difference, and this is going to be, I think, a lot of the topic of conversation for us today, a difference between identity work and accomplishments. And I feel like sometimes coaching is sold as a way to get more accomplishments, but it should be more about becoming who you really are.
Exactly.
So welcome, welcome, Julie. I'm so thrilled to have you here, and I can't wait to just dive in there and see and hear the story and the juice of your lived
Thank you. Thank you
experience.
for having me.
Yeah, of course. Super pleasure. So, like, where do you want to begin? Do you want to go to that executive coach moment and what it felt like to like kind of be confronted with a truth that you could no longer ignore?
Sure. That's a good place to start.
Okay.
I, you know, I had been searching and searching for years
Mm,
to break out of the position, not only break out of the position that I was in corporate, but to stop feeling insignificant
mhm,
in my place, not only in corporate, but in life in general.
mm,
I was brought up to believe that you work hard, you go to school, you get good grades,
mhm,
you get a good um, corporate
education. Yeah.
position, and
Mhm.
then it everything just flies.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I read that
um,
book too. That was my mom filled me with that bedtime story too.
exactly, that's how I was brought up.
Yeah.
So when the time came for me to do it, sure, I got that great job. I checked all the boxes.
Mhm.
And sure, I had a great salary. I had a great, uh, beautiful car. I
Mhm.
had a four-bedroom colonial in the
Mhm.
suburbs. I had all the things, quote unquote,
Yeah.
that mattered. But when it came to me, I realized I was miserable.
Mhm.
I did not like what I did. I did not like having to deal with the corporate politics. I did not like anything about it. But I just kept going and
Right.
going and going because let's face it, it's hard to give up the perks of having
Yeah.
a really nice job and
Yeah.
all that. Plus, everyone around me at the time would say, "Are you crazy?
Sure.
You've got it made. You've got everything." But no, I just didn't feel right. So, as you said, one day I met a corporate executive coach in at my job who was coaching my boss. And we had a conversation that lit me up
Mhm.
so high and
Mhm.
so bright that I felt like I was floating when I finished
Mhm.
speaking with her.
Mhm.
That was my genuine aha
Yeah.
moment
Yeah.
that coaches give to people. That was the aha moment she gave to me.
Yeah.
And that was when I realized I had not only an out, but a chance to really, really shine, really, really feel that I made a difference,
Mhm.
that I was not going to be insignificant anymore.
Mhm.
So at the time, I was number one, trying desperately to get pregnant. I
Mhm.
was among the many, I guess hundreds of thousands of women who suffered from infertility problems.
Mhm.
And um and in my case, it was because I waited so long.
Okay.
I was I was 46 when I gave birth to my twin daughters.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. What a miracle. Wow.
And it was on a wing and a prayer, but
Yeah.
it happened, thank
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah.
So at that time I was in the
Wow.
midst of all that.
Uh-huh.
So I couldn't, I not that I couldn't, but I didn't choose to pursue a coaching certification
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah.
So I went on, and after I had my children, then I decided, okay, it's time. So I went to IPAC
Hmm.
and got my certification. And for that whole year that I got that certification, I was just in another world. I
Right.
was floating
Right.
because I was finding out a different person lived inside of me.
Yeah. Say
Not
that
that
again. I love
and
that.
I shouldn't say different
Right.
because I was actually reconnecting with the
Yes.
real me.
The familiar, the actual, the
The
underneath.
real me, the
Yeah.
authentic person that
Yeah.
I was inside that
Yeah.
I had forgotten existed.
Yeah.
So when I finished that, I went on and I became a coach. And at the time, my daughters were only 8 years old. So it was a little difficult to
Mm-hmm.
run a coaching practice, raise them,
Hmm.
take care of all of us in the family.
Hmm.
So I put the coaching on the back burner, went on with life. But
Yeah.
I still had it there. I knew what I wanted to do because the
Mm-hmm.
person within had gone back to the old me.
Mm-hmm.
And there was no stopping that. Anyway, my daughters went to college.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and for a brief moment, I forgot that that's what I wanted to do, go back to coaching. But um, COVID happened.
Yeah.
While COVID was going on, I was writing a book, but not a book about coaching, but a novel. And then when coaching hit, right, being an author during COVID was, it was isolating enough to be an author because you were always at home, always
Okay.
writing behind the computer. But I said to myself, wait, I found out about Zoom.
Uh-huh.
And I said, wow, this is a perfect time to start back into my coaching. So,
Uh-huh.
with the advent of Zoom,
Yeah.
I started my practice up again.
Uh-huh.
And over the years, I started in October of 2021.
Mm.
And I felt that the best way to make myself visible and available to people was to let people all know about my life and what happened.
Right.
And so that's when I wrote
Right.
Stuck, Unstuck, Unstoppable.
Mm-hmm.
This high achieving women discover and overcome the obstacles to an unstoppable you.
Yeah.
And through this book, I basically outlined my coaching methodology.
Mm-hmm.
I um, like intuitively explained how you get to know yourself again after many, many years.
Yeah.
And then once you know who you are, you can figure out what it is or who it is that you really want to be in life.
Yeah.
And then after that, I went to another coaching school of positive intelligence,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah. I've heard of them.
which is the mental fitness part.
Yeah.
And I was so impressed by that I decided I've got to incorporate this into
Mm-hmm.
my coaching.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do. And for those who don't know what mental fitness is the ability to function every day without reacting um, uh, to everything that happens around you. Basically, to um, be able to just
Observe.
flow easily
Mm-hmm.
through everything that happens in your everyday life,
Mm-hmm.
and to basically real actually it's a different way of behaving in life.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
changing your patterns, it's changing your
Yeah.
patterns of behavior.
Yeah.
So I decided that had to be the main focus of my book, that and the mental fitness. But also too, I included stories of my not only my own story, but the stories of one woman I coached and two of colleagues of mine
Mm-hmm.
who went through very similar
Right.
experiences in their life as well.
So,
And I'm hoping
yeah.
that a lot of women who are the younger version of myself
Oh,
will get a lot
right.
of benefit from that book
Yeah.
and change their lives,
Yeah.
or hope to change their lives with that as a basis.
It's really beautiful to hear. the way you've laid that out. And so a few threads I want to pull on. First of all, you had kids at 46 that have since gone to college. So listeners, as much as I want to gag when I hear you're not late, you're not behind, like say that to me one more time, right? But
Yeah.
this is Julie is living proof that you reach your destiny, or wouldn't even say that, you reach who you are again anytime. And there's no time limit on that. And Julie, like looking at you and how satiated you feel in your spirit now, may I assume that you're not um, remiss of the timeline that it took to get here? Not at all,
No,
right?
as I explained in my book, I spent almost 3 decades
Yeah,
in corporate.
yeah,
And it was I guess my resilience, my fervor for it was my passion for
right.
being able to be me and do what I wanted to do in life
Mhm.
and be who I am as opposed to what everybody else expected me to be,
Yeah,
um, which kept me going.
yeah,
So it's possible. If you really want something, you can get it.
yeah, yeah. And you just have to show up for yourself in order to bring that through, right? The other
Yes.
thing I want to pull on from what you said, because I really appreciate and respect that in telling your story, you're bringing other women's stories in as well, so that
Yes.
you can enhance your message. Books sometimes are used really to showcase ourselves, but enriching it with more case studies
Mm-hmm.
gives like a more robust information for somebody to connect to, because some will resonate so deeply with yours, or they'll be opening with what you're saying, but they need to hear from Carol or Michelle or whoever else too, in order for it to click further, because we relate to women that we think are like us. And so if a slightly different version is reading it, she's going to be looking for someone more like her. And that's really
Mm-hmm.
important. And I think that was really smart and compassionate, and self-loving, that you're not so concerned with a return for yourself that it can only be about you, which to me says that you really have a good sense of who you are.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And I did not want to be about me,
Mhm.
all about me.
Right?
My whole purpose was to show others that they should never give up on themselves.
Yeah.
So I tried to relate to um, as many people as was possible to
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
show their full story. And in the time that I had to write the book, I could only interview so many people,
Sure.
and all the people that I spoke to are not all in the book, but
Yeah.
I tried to give a pretty, good representation of other women as well as
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Because it connects through the timeline. And
Yes.
um, it's very it's very loving to create something that is of like reciprocal benefit, right? Of benefit to
Hmm.
you and of benefit to the readers, and hopefully, like you said, of benefit across generations. And it's interesting because on Sunday, I recorded a workshop discussion, and one of the women in there wants to again pay forward what she's learned and who she's become and mentor the next generations. And so I'm now very excited to think that there's this um not different, or but like that the sisterhood is growing even stronger, where
Yes.
older women are wanting to reach out to younger women, and not necessarily cut the middle like you described. Like listeners, you'll know I work full time. I'm building my coaching practice around that. You know, I'm able to do these things in parallel to each other, and we'll see where all the timing goes. But I'm choosing fulfillment now, and I'm able to hold both of them now. Sometimes it is a timing and a logistic thing, but um, if we can start pouring that, like you said, that possibility in sooner, then the moms and women of future generations will have more tools and more love and understanding about themselves to raise, it sounds big, but to raise society in, right? Because really that's what ends up happening because we are living and growing through what previous generations taught us. And we're
Exactly.
finding that it's not in alignment anymore, that it served a
Hmm.
purpose, but it wasn't as big as we are craving for it to be. And now we're making space for that. And we're excited about it. And we want other women, to come into that sooner.
Exactly. Plus, the sooner other women realize that they have the it's not that they don't realize they have the capability and the right, and then and that they deserve to do this, but you know we've got a world right now that's, I think, I mean, it's in total chaos,
Mhm.
and we need more people like us
Yeah.
to change this
Yeah.
world.
Yeah. To lead it forward, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And if, if I and other women like myself of my generation do not take a stand, and I call it a movement,
Yes, it is.
if we don't, you know, get this movement going, the world is not going to
Yeah.
change. And so I feel I have a responsibility to
Yeah.
pass this on.
Yeah.
So this is my legacy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And other women, younger versions of myself, want to leave legacies in
Hmm.
the world too.
Hmm.
And I am here to show them that they can very well do it and be happy doing it.
I really hope that the listeners are picking up on this because, again, if we do work for ourselves and our own gain, then it dies with us. But
Right.
if we do work for legacy,
Yes.
then that is where the greater impact and ripple effect, if you want, takes place. And it's true that even if this generation heals and expands in such a beautiful way, if it ends with us, it's very static. And
Mm-hmm.
so pulling it down is really about a much bigger vision for the future beyond ourselves, and not even necessarily that more younger women can start life coaching businesses or achieve gold medals or whatever, but that we can live more in alignment and more in
Yes.
our true selves. And in that simplicity, as you said, with the mental fitness of responding in the day to day, that's where
Yes.
the real power is. It's not
Mm-hmm.
in grandiose, again, as I said at the beginning, high achievements, it's in high transformational identity, and
Mm-hmm.
that's the piece to feed back and make that change. How a mom responds to her child, how she stewards her relationship, her money, her her intelligence and influence in the world, right? In the
Mm-hmm.
small day to day.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a big juicy topic and it's actually very topical at very present in my life. So I'm like, oh, here's things in aligning, in the supernatural to show there this movement is out there and it is going to take momentum and stamina to
Yes.
kind of anchor in over a few generations.
And everything happens for a reason. And that's why I and other women like myself are here right
Yeah.
now at
Yeah.
this time.
Right. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Connecting and serving.
Yes.
So I want to know what it's like to write a book, a whole book by
Oh boy.
yourself. And like you worked with She Rises for this one.
Yes.
So you guys, She Rises Studios is like this mega institution of women who have basically built a marketing agency for entrepreneurs, right?
Hmm.
So you find them, so you're going to take on writing a book. So I wrote a couple of chapter contributions in 2025, and
Hmm.
that seemed daunting to me, never mind a whole book. So walk us through who Julie became as continued to pour yourself into that product.
Well, I had an advantage because I've been a writer my whole life.
Okay.
And during my corporate career, I did a lot of writing. I wrote a lot of books, business books
Okay.
on the tech industry, high tech industry, products and services, um, and also about, the companies themselves, like where they were placed in the market. And so, I had the ability to write to begin with.
Hmm.
But when it comes to writing a typical nonfiction book, other than a business book, it's I don't want to say it's well, it is. It's very different. It is very different.
Yeah.
Um, because you still have to use the same, writing methods, do your research, do interviews, do all the same things you would do writing a business book, but it's so much more fulfilling. I mean, it is
Mm.
it actually took me a lot longer to write the book because I had started out in 2024 writing it, but I didn't finish it till 2025 because there was sort of an evolution that was going on in my own writing
Mm-hmm.
during that whole time, that I decided, oh, I don't care how long it's going to take me. I want to say what I want to say, and
Hmm.
I want it to be the way I want it to. I want it to be written the way I want it to be
Yeah.
written. So it just, for a certain period of time, it was just like, okay, I'm writing down all my experiences, I'm writing down the effect it had on me and all that. But then after a while, my intuition kicked in, and
Hmm.
it was so much easier to write the last part of the book than when I started in the beginning.
Right.
Because, like anything else that you work on, you become a part of it.
Yeah.
So, so intuitively, I just kind of flowed with the book as I wrote it.
Right.
And and it took me less time to write the last half of the book than it did when I started from the beginning,
Right.
because I was just so surprised on how my inner spirit just took over
Right.
and told me exactly what to write, and just
Right.
it flowed from there. So, although I was a little slow at the start, it all came out so beautifully. And I just love the way I finished it. And I mean, for me, it was probably different than a lot of other women who first wrote, a book for the
Sure.
first time in their life.
Sure.
But it still was very different for me.
Well, it's more personal for one,
Yes, it was a
right?
lot more personal.
This is often when we have masculine, hard technical skills in one industry, but then we apply them
Right.
to ourselves. it's always a bit more vulnerable and uncertain, right? We're like a bit wobbly. We're learning to
E-
walk again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it sounds like the book took you deeper into the journey of yourself as
it
well
did. It did.
and revealed more Julie that was
Yes,
waiting to be woken up and join the party, right?
that's right. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like. That's
Yeah.
exactly what it felt like. I came back. I came
Right.
back to myself and to my familiar self that got lost along the way.
So here, let's see, Julie, between you and the clients that you've worked with, even if we have these eureka moments, which I'm not a huge fan of because they kind of burst and dissipate, right? They're like
Yeah,
flashy in the
sometimes.
moment,
Yeah.
but so we can have these and they can start to open up a new path and a new mindset of possibility. But then there's always kind of a returning by the sounds of it, right? And coming back. So this
Yes.
is the work never ends in, as you said earlier, getting to know yourself again. Like you can just keep
Yes.
going deeper and deeper into that. And
It's never ending.
it's never ending,
Really. It
right?
is. Yes.
And so the version of you that came out at the end of the book, and how is she now showing up in life? Like, how is life changing around you now that, you're awakening more to yourself inside?
Well, I I live now for myself. Not only do I have the urgent need to serve,
Mm,
but I treat myself better.
mm,
I recognize my own needs and I act on fulfilling my own needs now.
right.
Whereas before, I would give up something for somebody else. And now that's not an option.
Hmm.
Now I find a way, because there always is a possibility. I find a way to serve myself at the same time as I serve everybody else.
Right.
And that is so rewarding, because before, when you would think, oh, I can't do this because so and so will suffer, or that's not true.
Hmm.
That's a lie,
Hmm.
because you can still help somebody else and help yourself at the same
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
I've proved that.
Yeah.
And it gives hope and possibility to other people to do the same.
It really allows for us to find ourselves
Yes.
right from where we are, not in perfect circumstances, not under certain conditions or prerequisites, but choosing right in that moment. And that's speaking really deeply to me because it's a lot to work full time. I have a 7-year old, I'm 44.
Hmm. Hmm.
Pardon me, guys. And and then to run the coaching business on top of all that and the podcast and even just this morning I'm like, ugh. But in the
I know the
sense
feeling.
in the sense of, you know, getting clear again, why? Why is this in alignment? And the answer is always, yeah, yeah, because who would I be if I didn't have powerful ink and I wasn't doing these things? That piece of my spirit would die. And so even just
Exactly.
chatting with you, it's pulling out the time, the no rush, and, stewarding and sowing seeds for a harvest that happens in spurts and in different ways that I will appreciate as they come. And that, especially, that I'm not racing to a destination. This is the
Right.
embodiment of identity, is when you are not racing to a destination. And so I'm in corporate, local government, and I daily am showing up more and more as who I am in full
Hmm.
in that environment. Now, it's a very healthy workplace and it's probably 80% women, like badass, amazing, heart-centered, strong leadership, soul leadership. So it's an incredible workplace for bureaucracy. But
It sounds like an ideal place within,
yeah,
like you said,
yeah,
within a bureaucracy,
it's
like
a
a
real
little pocket.
unicorn, right?
Yeah.
And so I get to play in that space of getting to know myself again without it having to be a laptop beach lifestyle coaching business,
Hmm.
or a mansion with a studio soundproofed just for me and the podcast and the recordings. Like it allows me to show up in this conversation so fully lit up in my
Hmm.
little tiny, as I've been saying lately, messy background space of the real world. And I think that's the big piece of freedom that you're saying we get to serve others and ourselves without self-abandonment in um
Yes.
in what? Like help me finish that thought process because it's a big concept that that's like my next level of work of unpacking and integrating.
And I like the way you said, I get to. It's no longer I have to,
Right.
or I should, or I could. I get to. So it's even changing your language.
Mhm.
You know, it's so much more freer. And when you say I get to, it implies it's your opportunity, it's your possibility. It's there's so much more when you even change your language
Yeah.
because your whole outlook changes and then of course if your outlook changes the result of what you do is even better than before.
Yeah.
So it's just a complete forward looking um, way to function in life
Mhm.
and is what we need so much. We need so much of this now.
Yeah.
um, with so much negativity around us. We need to get rid of that negativity. We need to encourage people. It, we people like us are needed so much here in this world. Yes.
Yeah, to help. I think our role could be to help hold the duality and
Hmm.
still be a beacon of hope for the
Yes.
future, right?
Yes.
Because if we, it's almost like this visualization is coming through of, um, I'm going to put myself in our generation, even though we're probably a couple of years apart, but I'll
Oh
lump you,
yeah, but that's okay.
I'll lump you and I together. And like we're now awakened women and we're warriors holding the darkness back, right?
Yes.
And as we're doing that, we're trying to pour in what we're learning and how we've transformed to the next generation. Because if we don't hold that darkness back, it's going to collapse. And then
Exactly.
these younger folks aren't going to, if our parents couldn't teach us to navigate, and man, did they have darkness to live through,
Oh
right?
yes.
Very,
Yes.
then how will we equip the next ones to come forward stronger, more enlightened, more
That's right.
connected, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
And it's funny because the way I raised my children, um, it all reflects on who I've become
yeah,
because I raised them with thoughts of real opportunity without giving up who they really are,
right,
um, giving up
right.
their desires, giving up their um, needs. And I mean, I'm living proof because I have one daughter, she's going for a PhD in astrophysics right now
What?
at the University of Colorado,
Wow.
because since middle school, she just was fascinated by the stars, the sun, the moon. I mean, she would go anytime we'd come back from somewhere at night. She couldn't go in the house until
Okay,
she checked out the stars and
right,
so she is living proof that she is doing what she really wants.
right.
And my other daughter, she's married. She has a 6-month-old baby,
Mm,
and she is a band director, in school, and
beautiful.
she's doing exactly
Yes.
what she wanted to do
Yes.
since middle school as well.
Right.
And she has traveled around the country with Drum Corps International, which is like a professional bands,
Cool.
you know, different corps, different, they have a big competition in Indianapolis at the end of all of
Hmm.
it, at the end of the summer. And she did that for 3 years. And I mean, they're living the life that they
Right.
wanted to live. And
Right.
it makes my heart, so full
Yeah.
to know
Yeah.
that they're staying true to themselves.
Yeah.
They're not going out and living in the world being who everybody else wants them to
That's
be,
it.
like I did
Yeah.
at first.
Yeah.
They are living out their passion
Yeah.
from the beginning.
From the beginning.
So it just, I got chills thinking about
Yeah.
it.
Well, that's freedom, right?
Yes,
Freedom in
yes,
yourself, and freedom that um, the difference that they get to make. Okay, let's see if I can unpack this.
mm-hmm,
When we stay in our alignment,
mm-hmm.
it makes it put everything else can click into place around us, right?
Yes,
And one example I like to use every so often is like, what if Walt Disney didn't? What if Walt Disney didn't?
did not do that's right.
Okay, how different of a world. Like with everything going on in America right now, Disneyland, as far as I know, is still Disneyland. Praise the Lord that
Yes.
it's like a sanctuary amidst the rest of this.
And
What
it's
if
a
Walt
place to
didn't?
go and forget about what is going on outside for a little while.
Right? What if he didn't? What if he
Yes,
thought this, I'm gonna shrink. I'm gonna shrink around this because like we don't talk about men a lot, but they're the other entire half of this whole picture. So
yes,
it's really beautiful to put more living examples and evidence into the world who are living in that because the way that it's going to feed out is not up to us. But with your band director daughter, like the impact of that is huge. It's
yes,
huge. It's
yes.
very significant. Um, so I'd like to know now, as we kind of have to sadly close things up, tell us, like, what do you just are so happy and satisfied and like feeling love for yourself, for the choices that you've made, and for the woman you continue to steward and allow.
Well, one big thing that happened um, was not that I was afraid, but nobody really wants to die,
Right.
but I feel at peace
Mm.
now that I am doing what I really want to do in this world now.
Yeah.
And I've been a lifelong learner,
Mhm.
and I feel like I will keep learning something every day until the day I die.
Right.
And I will be learning something on the day that I die. And it is it's so fulfilling. And I'm finally doing what I should be doing in my own heart.
Right.
And, you know, it's just such a changing experience, such a fulfilling experience to do what I've done. And, you know, I'm happy
Yeah.
and I'm ready when the good Lord says, okay, it's time to come home, I'm ready.
Right. Yeah.
So I have no fears. Like
Yeah.
that I used to have fears before. The old Julie was afraid of so many things.
Yeah.
And now I'm not afraid of anything, and I don't think anything is impossible. Everything is possible.
That's like the one of the most powerful things I've heard, and I love because I use that example of on your deathbed, the reverse engineering.
Yeah.
And imagine if we lived in that peace and freedom of self for
Yes.
longer than maybe the final decade, you know?
Yeah.
Like that is ultimate freedom, and that must be close to what heaven on earth is because you are shining bright as the you that you're meant to be, la la la, nursery rhyme, etc. But just the way that you spoke that is very impactful and like if we're trying to achieve a goal, that's the goal. And in none of that did you say, I'm making $10,000 a day, I've
Nope.
served 500 million people,
It
I live
doesn't
in a
matter.
mansion,
It
right?
does, none of it matters. It just matters that you're doing it.
You're talking
Because all
about,
that other stuff is part of, they call the third dimension, or the
right?
ego, the yeah. Whereas I'm talking about feeling like exactly like you said, like heaven on earth.
Yeah. Happy with the version of
Yes.
yourself that you're
Yes.
being and
Mm-hmm.
continuing to become.
Yes.
That's a way to live. And that's a state of being. That's an identity embodiment
Mm-hmm.
that has nothing to do with any external proof, but
Nope.
rather with like relational connection to yourself
Mm-hmm.
and to others, which you beautifully spoke of earlier when you said serving others and serving myself reciprocally.
Yes. Absolutely.
Huge. Huge. So, Julie, your book's out now. We're going to drop the link in the show notes. We want the audience to come and find it. We want to follow you on socials. You're on Facebook, Instagram, and
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn.
Hmm.
Yeah,
And
perfect.
now I just started a Substack.
So fun. Good for you. So great.
Yeah, because I decided to continue my writing in Substack, and
Ah,
Substack is a place for writing good articles.
okay.
Yeah.
And so what are you casting your spirit into future possibility? Where's the vision taking you?
Well, it made me realize when I wrote this book, it made me realize how much I missed writing.
Mhm.
And so I'm going to continue writing in Substack. Eventually, I may write another book. And someday I'm actually going to finish that novel that I started back in when 2019, 2020. Um, but I think um, I will be happy just to serve as many women as I can,
Mhm.
and partner with them to find themselves.
Yeah,
And then if one person benefits from what I provide, I'll be happy
yeah,
because I know I will have left something behind.
yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Such a rich conversation, Julie. Thank you so much. I'm like,
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
oh yeah, pleasure.
Mhm.